I have no problem talking about cancer, where some people just want to ignore it and think it's going to go away if they just ignore it, or ignore any type of diagnosis that they have. But I want my boys to know what it is. You can't see it. If I was bald, maybe then somebody would know I'd have cancer. But I'd rather people ask a question instead of judge, or why does your mom look like that? Well, she looks like that because she can, and she cares about how she looks. And what does cancer look like?
I want to make her better. And I don't want to lose her. Sorry. That's the tough part.
In 2012, police officer Trish O'Neill had a scare while on the job that would prove to be a turning point in her life.
On March 15th, I was involved in a situation at work, and I had to, it was an arrest warrant, and I had to draw my weapon, and I couldn't. And I thought, oh, this is not good. So I came back to the office, and I had to tell my lieutenant there's something wrong.
Trish informed her lieutenant of the incident and would later schedule an MRI. However, Trish committed herself to rehab sessions first, and it was in rehab that she felt a lump on her right breast.
I went straight to the doctor. They did a biopsy, and bam, it was my mother's birthday, and I was diagnosed with cancer.
I don't see that as a bad mark on my birthday. I see that as a beginning of recovering. We found it, now we have to do something about it. Tricia talks about it as being a gift. I don't necessarily take it as a gift. I take it as something that's happened to us and we have to deal with it. It's a hurdle. I wished it could have been me and not her to have it. But we're here and we're fighting together. And it hurts to see her hurt.
Before being diagnosed with cancer, Trish had undergone a complete lifestyle change that resulted in her losing 140 pounds after 2 years. This transformation resulted in a need for some body work to be completed, including a breast augmentation. This procedure was helpful in diagnosing Trish's cancer.
Luckily, with those implants that I did have in, pushed the tumor out and allowed me to be able to feel it. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened, because I had just turned 40 and I had my mammogram, and no mammogram could pick it up. For me, it was always important to do the best I could of getting out of bed every day and putting my makeup on and doing my hair. And people say, why do you still have your hair? Well, I chose not to do chemotherapy. Knowing how sensitive my body is to medication, I felt for sure it would kill me.
They think that because cancer is gone, you're supposed to just get up and carry on, the sun will come out, and you're supposed to be happy, happy, happy because you don't have cancer anymore. But the after effects are tremendous. The effects of the medication when they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they cause such horrible side effects that you can't get out of bed. And there were times she said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I said, well, if you don't do it anymore, I won't do it anymore.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, I had to come home and tell my boys, and it was very, very difficult. And my youngest son, Matt, said to Mom, I said, Matt, Mom needs to tell you something. And he goes, what? And I said, I have cancer. And he just looked at me and he said, who's going to take care of me when you die? And I said, well, Matt, I don't think I'm going to die, because we're going to get through this. And I said, we're all going to die, but I'm hoping cancer is not going to take me. And Dominic says, Mom, wear your boxing gloves. And I said, why? And he says, because we have a fight, and we're going to need those gloves. I mean, many, many challenges ahead for everybody, but it's the kids that are left out. It's not the kids that have cancer. They're very supported, and parents that have the cancer, we're supported. But it's the kids and the siblings watching a loved one. But like, not once did anybody say, "How are your kids doing?" I got a call from the dean at school, and Dominic didn't tell me about something that happened a while ago, and I was waiting for him to tell me. And he said he went into the dean and he broke down.
I'm like, well, just like I really had nobody to talk to with like my mom having struggled with that, and like sports weren't going very well, grades weren't going very well, just like all the stress piled into one, and I had like no outlet to go to except football. And for me, like when I just like broke down and cried because like I would talk and I had nobody else to talk to, and like I really didn't tell anybody about like my experiences until I met the dean. So it's kind of like ironic that like the one person you never want to talk to, I talk to. I don't want any other kids to have to go through what I went through with like going to baseball practice, coming home, and seeing my mom bawling on the couch saying I have cancer.
With the ocean as her therapy, Trish went to Capitola as she normally does. But one day would stick out compared to the rest. She made a friend by the name of Andy Whitman who would ask a question that would lay the foundation for Cowgirls Surf and kids embracing love.
He says, "I did read that you have been battling cancer, so I have a question for you." I said, "What's that?" And he says, "If you pass tomorrow, what do you have for your kids?" And I said, "You know what? That's a pretty profound question." And I said, "Nothing." I said, "A couple leather couches, tons of cowboy boots, tons of cowboy hats." And he said, "So what would you want?" "I want to start a foundation for kids. Kids not with cancer, but kids who have to deal with parents or a loved one that do have cancer." And I said, "And I've done a lot of research, and there's not much around for these kids." And he said, "That's amazing. So what are you going to do?" And I said, "I have no idea." I said, "I'm a single mom. I've been a cop my whole life. And I know they're going to retire me out because I can't draw my weapon anymore. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to make a difference." And I said, "I would love," well, he said, "What would you like? If anything else, what would you like?" And I said, "I would love a picture of my boys and I and my board."
To fulfill her wish, Andy introduced Trish to a number of people, including James De Leon, who Andy knew could help Trish with taking photos. After a few conversations, Trish and JD agreed to meet with each other for a small photo shoot.
I was up at Sharks Cove, and I think Andy was at that time doing quite a bit of SUP lessons and was giving Trish a stand-up paddle lesson. And when they cruised by, he introduced us and had mentioned that I might be hearing from her about a picture that she wanted to.
Once he took the picture, he said, "Name this picture." And I said, "Why do you want me to name it?" And he said, "Because every artist names their work. And I just took a picture of you, and you need to name it." So I just looked, Cowgirl Surf.
There was just this sort of silhouette logo that she talked about. So I had created the logo, and then she had mentioned the idea of the name Cowgirl Surf.
And he said, "That just rolled off your tongue." And I said, "You told me to name it." So I did. And he says, "Yeah, I don't think that will work." And I said, "Work for what?" And he says, "Work for what we want to do." And I said, "I just want a picture. That's all I was looking for." And he says, "Well, I have other ideas." And he said, "I want to brand you." Branding meaning, you know, I want to start a clothing apparel line, brand you and brand your story, because every brand has a story, and your story is just ongoing and unbelievable, the way you have faced adversity through the years. And I said, "Okay, I will agree to this on a couple conditions." And he said, "What?" And I said, "The proceeds must go to start a foundation for kids."
JD's next assignment for Trish was to come up with a tagline for the silhouette logo they had created.
Cowgirl Surf was one of those things that I don't know that if you said that, people would immediately know what your company is. So a tagline was an important thing. And it's my understanding that it was a collaboration between Trish and her son.
What's a good catchphrase? Catchy, and then I just thought of it.
And Dominic's like, "Mom, it's so easy." I said, "What's so easy?" And he says, "Hope, faith, surf."
like hope, because we always have hope in our life. Surf, because my mom loves surfing. And then faith is that we need faith in God and just have faith to strengthen each other to, I don't know, just have faith is a meaning that gives us the strength to build, to like stay as one as a family.
And I said, you just nailed it, Dominic. And I said, but what I love is Hope Faith Surf can mean whatever people want it to mean. In September, I had enough money from the proceeds from the clothing that we launched Kids Embracing Hope. So we now have a nonprofit called Kids Embracing Hope.
What does cancer look like? It's ugly. It has so many faces that we can't draw them. We can't. You just don't lose hope. You never give up. Never, ever give up.
As many days as I was in a fetal position, more days I was standing up in the ocean.